Welcome back to DC-Cember, as me and my guests, Velvetjoker and Patrick Palen, continue through the top 12 DCEU movies.
Let's party.
Yeah! Nice choice.
You're gonna hate me on this one. Unless you liked it. I didn't hate it, but this one, honestly, I put it at the bottom of my list. I really liked all of the cast in this one, but it felt very similar to what we'd have already seen with Iron Man, Ant-Man, and Venom. I would say like if those three movies made a baby.
Yeah, it does have a typical story kind of thing, although the one thing I appreciate with Blue Beetle is that he doesn't try to hide his secret from the family because they all know it pretty much the moment he gets to Scarab. And I'll just say for Zolo Manduela, he really did a good job playing Jaime.
Yes, he's a great actor. I've not seen him in anything before this one, so I'm really looking forward to anything else that he does in the future coming up.
Oh yeah, because like before this, he was one of the main casts in Cobra Kai.
That's right.
But it is very similar to other Marvel movies you said, where it's basically evil versions of themselves.
And I really felt like they were really trying to hammer away at like it was a family vibe, and they were trying to do, you know, because Latinos typically have like a culture of it, like very family oriented. They all have their back, and no matter what happens, they sacrifice for each other. And I think they were pushing that vibe, and it felt good watching it. So where you said this is one of your lowest, this is actually my number 4.
Tell me a little bit more about that, because there were definitely aspects of it I enjoyed. So I'm curious to hear what you liked about it.
I loved his performance. I liked his sister, the Beale-mobile. I don't know. I just dug it. I didn't feel like there were too many jokes. I felt it was like just right. It was like a teenage superhero movie that had some good special effects, some good jokes, and some decent acting. And for me, it was just a good time. It wasn't like a super deep movie, but for me, it was like a feel-good movie, which was kind of a deference to a lot of these other movies that are sort of in this series that we're talking about tonight.
I say that's pretty much how I felt like, because it was a different change of pace. It's not something thought-provoking or anything. It's just something where you can just relax and enjoy yourself.
Coincidentally, I got to interview Keith Giffen, who is the creator of this version of Blue Beetle, 3 months before he passed away. And initially, he was not going to go see this movie. He was sort of boycotting. He was kind of an interesting, fun curmudgeon type of guy. And he had this very strong personality, we'll call it. And his son-in-law, who ended up being my contact for him, hit me up. And he's like, he went to see it and he kind of dug it. So that was kind of cool. And then he passed away like within a few months of that, unexpectedly. And for me, that was kind of like the full circle event.
Wow, that's something, yeah, because they did a good job with bringing in the mythology of Blue Beetle, whereas through Easter eggs or exposition with Ted Kord, and I think even some articles with Dan Garrett, the first Blue Beetle.
They did.
Yeah, that's definitely high praise. If he had seen it and liked it, that's high praise.
I will say the voice for the Scarab, it was not what I was expecting. I guess mostly because I was used to Young Justice, where it sounded like, you know, more evil, kind of insect-like kind of thing, but everyone has a different vibe.
We're the good guys, we don't kill. There's just no pleasing you.
Yeah, so that's actually definitely something I was missing out on, I think, because the voice being the way they made it for the Scarab, it was a little bit hard for me to tell what was the mood. There might have been a few jokes on my first run through it that went a little bit over my head, because I was really unfamiliar with this character. I wasn't sure if it was really supposed to be sentient or if it was just purely alien technology.
I want to say it is kind of sentient AI because it's similar, I guess, with the Green Lantern ring, like where it chooses someone, at least in this movie. Someone's in the comics, it would just be anybody normally. It doesn't act like a Green Lantern ring or anything. Plus, if you're a fan of George Lopez, then you'll definitely like the humor in this movie.
I liked his mullet, or whatever he was pulling off with his hair. I liked it.
It was just so great with the family, especially the grandma.
Yeah. Grandma, he was badass.
She was.
I advise we back away.
Yeah, the sister and the grandma. What? I mean, the whole family, they were great. The casting they did for each of them, I thought that was fantastic. And not that, what's the name of the lead again?
Solo.
Yeah, right. Not that he wasn't great, but I was just so pleasantly surprised about the casting with the family, because I feel like the characters on the periphery are usually the ones who don't get such strong personalities in these kinds of movies, but they were fantastic.
And luckily, this version of Blue Beetle, like with Zolo, he's going to be staying on as a character as part of James Gunn's DCEU.
No way. Wait, he's surviving the jump?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's good, because I felt a little bad at the end of the movie where I was like, oh man, so I guess this movie got scrapped too, so they're not going to have much of a chance to like keep showing what they can do.
Hard to say if they'll continue with that exact story, but at least for that actor, he's still staying on.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they throw him in.
I could see Teen Titans. As far as the bad guys, I forgot the woman's name. I know it's like a relative of Ted Kord, but she was heartless.
Yeah, she was a decent villainess. I didn't know much about her, but I read up comic lore on her, and she definitely rang the bell.
Yeah, because then like with the guy with the OMAC suit, I think.
Yeah, OMAC.
It's pretty intimidating, though. A really sad backstory, though. I'm kind of glad that they put two and two together and realized how he was being used by Core Industries and decided to take care of things himself.
Stop! No!
And that stands for another end of layering for like what should be a forgettable character, and they just added this into him. Like, hey, look, this is the reason that he is the way that he is.
I wasn't expecting her to die the way she did, but I like it when there's a villain who dies in a way where it feels like it's directly as a result of the consequences of their choices and the people they've betrayed. And that's for sure what happened in this one. And it's like, all right, yeah, I can see it.
Yep, that's what happens when someone wants to take a company and want to try to build weapons, like another armored hero.
While I did feel like it was so reminiscent of like Iron Man and some of these other movies, I do recognize that they probably had quite a bit of a challenge on their hands, the director and the producers for this movie, because the pressure has got to be unbelievable when a character like Blue Beetle, and it's like, okay, there's like 30 MCU movies out there, and there's technically like 15-ish DCU movies. So the pressure is really high to deliver and to be different, but to also give you something that's not too different. So I don't know how I would have done it, but yeah, I respect what they were trying to do, and wasn't my cup of tea, but I'm glad that like for Velvetjoker, like for you, like I'm really glad that it resonated with you, and that's always interesting to hear how it hits somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I always respect other people's views because, you may not have been in the right state that day, or, like you said, it may just not be your cup of tea. But also in the vein of what you were just saying, trying to put a character like Blue Beetle out to the masses. Now, the comic fans may know Blue Beetle, but the masses don't know what Young Justice is, or the Blue Beetle comic, or who Keith Giffen is. They don't. They just don't. So it is a challenge to get a character like that out. And, for what it was, I thought they did a great job.
It's tough with less-known characters, which I'm glad that they're really trying hard to make sure not to keep it all just Batman, Superman for DC. Give other characters a chance to shine.
It's like Batman stuff. Batman's a fascist.
Thanks for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed the commentary, be sure to check out my guest podcast channels. Click the links in the description box to find out more details.